morning, everybody. If I could get everyone's attention and kind of tuck in just a little bit, that'd be awesome. Welcome to Run Club. My name is Ejay. 7 years ago, we set out to do something for ourselves that's consistent in that little bit of incremental gains. Hopefully it would move our life in the direction that we wanted to. We showed up every week to run a little bit, and the accountability factor turned into what you see today. We didn't set out to do a run club, but it turned into the greatest thing in my life because I get to do it with all you guys. So, I mean, you guys are the community. This doesn't exist without all you. So thank you guys for showing up. There's a few new faces. Who's new today? Just you? All right. This is awesome. Pick your pace, pick your miles. I will encourage you though, if you wanted to go 3 today, maybe go 4. Just push yourself a little bit. Otherwise, let's take our picture. Let's do it over here. The island. Welcome back. All right. Go for it.
3, 2, 1.
All right. Awesome. Have a great run, everybody.
The whole mindset behind Tacoma Rising was like, I want everything positive. I want to keep everything positive. And that's why like my first thought was talking to you, because you and like we said earlier, Ryan Reynolds, you guys are always so positive, which is so inspiring. And I gravitate towards that. And I think we need more of that in not just Tacoma, everywhere.
Right.
What motivates you to wake up every Sunday at like, I don't know, what, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
What time do you get up and how do you get out here? How do you get that motivation?
Yeah, for Run Club, I usually get up around like 6, get here around 6:45. Ty's running, obviously, the stretching clinic right now.
Yep.
It anchors my week. I get up, I go run, and it sets me up for the next 7 days.
Yeah.
And prioritizing your health and trying to just set yourself up for success the rest of the week, you know. And if I'm not good, I'm not good for my wife, I'm not good for my kids, I'm not good for work, I'm not good for anybody. And so it's like, the old mindset used to be, it's like, you know, put other people ahead of you, and I still put people ahead of me, but I have to carve out time for me in order to show up my best self.
Yeah,
and so
agreed.
this is kind of one of those things that anchors my week and sets me up for the next 7 days.
What is something that's been really impactful or memorable about this run club that's been really positive that you look back and say, man, that's awesome that we did that?
Yeah, the fact that we've done it every week for 7.5 years, I think is an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah.
A true testament to consistency.
Yes.
But I think the biggest one is watching the transformations of people, because I didn't really realize the impact that it was having on anyone, because we were doing it because we needed to change.
Yeah.
And the whole start of this was like, wow, we had good conversations. This is improving our life, mindset, everything. And then when people started running with us, they were starting to see improvements too, whether it was weight loss, whether it was relationship building, all of that, it just naturally happened. So the friendships that have been formed, the relationships that have been formed, I think that as a whole has been probably the most fulfilling. Just watching people come together and create their own community within a community.
Yeah.
You know, like now there's best friends that run every week that they never would have met unless they came to Run Club. And it's like, that's crazy. I didn't even, that wasn't even on my radar. I just needed to lose some weight when we started running. And here we are, you know, real friendships have formed from it. I just enjoy doing things with others too. And I feel like you can go fast by yourself, but you can go far with a group.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great quote. When I think of Tacoma and people really lifting Tacoma up, you're the top of my list.
Yeah, thank you.
When people talk about why cities are really cool,
Yeah.
I can absolutely see, because we have organizations and groups and communities like Tacoma Run Club.
Yeah, Tacoma slept on, I think. It always,
big time.
because I mean, you know, you're combating the image of what Tacoma maybe was, is, but I don't think it's still on its own journey of becoming what it could be. And I mean, look where we're walking now. That just whatever 20 years ago, this didn't even exist.
Right.
And so it's continuously improving, and I think that's where I get a lot of my grit from too, is because I've grown up with it.
Yes, yes.
So
right up here.
Literally 2 miles up the
this
hill.
way, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like this was a Sarco.
Yes, yes.
This wasn't even somewhere you were supposed to be. And now here we are running here every Sunday.
Hi, I'm Reed Fetters with Tacoma Rising, and I have a good friend today here with me, Ejay O'Donnell, who is co-founder of Dad Gang and founder of Tacoma Run Club. Did I get those right?
100%.
100%. Well, there's a lot of other things. That list has gotten longer the more I talk to you over the years. And why don't, let's just start with that. Like when we met, you were working for a general contractor doing business development, which I had no idea your background or anything. And we got to talking, and I know we had more conversations after that I started to learn more about you and your background. And it was not in construction.
No.
Like, take me through the kind of the different things you've been involved with over the years.
Yeah. Gosh, we can probably go way back to, we should probably go even further back than obviously the construction company, and what kind of led up to that. But, right out of high school, actually, I guess in high school, I was a graffiti artist. That was all I cared about was graffiti.
That's news to me too.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
So back in 1996, my best friend and I, we started a graffiti crew, and we're 10 years old. It's funny. That's what we did. We ran around the city painting graffiti. Everything revolved around hip hop for us, early on. So, you go middle school, high school, all I cared about was trying to find a job so I could get a car so I could be mobile. And then I want to go paint graffiti all over the place. And at the time, my mom was actually working for a college that I could have gone to college for free. And I didn't not barely pass high school, but I definitely did enough just to get out of high school because I wanted to go, I guess, wasn't trying to be an entrepreneur. It's just I like to do my own thing. And in 2002, I think it was, or 2001, I ended up meeting this guy. He needed graffiti for an event that he was throwing in Seattle. And sure enough, that ended up becoming somebody I worked with and creating a sticker company with for 17 years. So right out of high school, I jumped right into creating a sticker business.
That's wild.
Yeah. And so that in itself, I did that for 2000. I did it full time, 2007, 2008 till 2019.
When did you first feel like you were either going to be an entrepreneur or you were an entrepreneur?
I still don't feel like an entrepreneur. I just feel like I was an artist first, always. I remember going all the way back to kindergarten, when they're dishing out the pieces of paper that had a 8.5 by 11 with a letter on it. And I was like, this is cool. And I got to color it. So I just loved letters and I loved art and I loved color. And that's, I think, what led to the obsession for graffiti. Because once I figured out what graffiti was, it was over from there. And then the extension of that was stickers. And so I get to take design, letters, logos, brands, and now I get to put it on something that I can stick on something. And that's what kind of attracted me to that business. So I never, entrepreneur wasn't a cool thing back in 2025 or 2005 or beyond. It was just, no one set out to own a business per se. Some people did, but I didn't. I just wanted to make art, and I loved community. I loved connecting with people. And so that sticker career, that was a solid 17 years of just building relationships with people. And even at that time, I didn't really feel like an entrepreneur. I was working with somebody that had a lot of experience and taught me a ton throughout that time period. And so I built a business alongside him and learned how to become an entrepreneur, a business owner. And in that process, I'm meeting people and they're like, man, I just went to college for 6 years for business administration and you just learned it for free in real time.
Yeah.
And I was
got paid while you're doing it.
I got paid while I was doing it. So it just seemed, it wasn't even I was just having fun and I was getting a paycheck and I was doing it with people I really enjoyed being with. But there was a huge responsibility as I learned business that if I don't answer those emails, nobody else will.
Right.
If I don't answer those phone calls, no one else will. And also that people weren't willing to go above and beyond for other people. And so that's how we really grew that business, was by actually just answering emails, answering phone calls, trying to win business and just going above and beyond that other people weren't trying to do. And not to mention, we were 2008. This might sound crazy, but there was really no sticker companies on the internet at that time.
Really?
You could order stuff online. And even at the time, you were sending a quote request in. So you had to correspond via emails. And I was faxing payment information over to people. That's how we were getting paid, or PayPal was just coming out. So it was super early internet and commerce days. And so we were one of the first to actually get on the internet to sell customized service of stickers on there. So I just always had this curiosity of things. I just liked building things. I always enjoyed it. And it goes all the way back to letter structure and 3D modeling and things like that I remember doing my entire childhood. So that's like really what started this entire journey that I've been on. Was I loved art. I loved community. I mean, I guess I could bounce around in so many different ways, but like the whole community aspect came from, ended up teaching graffiti through a thing called Life classes with Jason Hewlin. He put together this thing called Life, Living in Free Expression. We were teaching graffiti, breakdancing, and DJing over at Puget Sound Christian Center. And that ultimately turned into Fabitat, Fab 5 right here on Hilltop. We were the start of that. And when hip hop is built on community. And so I loved art. I loved building things. I loved doing it with other people. And that's just kind of been my personality forever. So I never even thought I was an entrepreneur. I always thought of myself as just like, I just liked being in service of others, and I enjoyed doing work with others, and I happened to make money doing it. And so that was like the first 17 years right out of high school was doing that.
And you did it at a time it wasn't cool if you didn't go to college. Like, it was like everyone wanted you to go to college. That was kind of forced on you. Like, I graduated in 2000 and my brothers went to college, and I knew I wanted to be an architect. That's where I was, I had to do that. But if you didn't go to college, you got looked over
all the time.
And it's so wrong, because it really hurt our trades industry, and it's hurt so many things. And one of the things now that Tacoma Public Schools is really pushing, you don't have to go to college. You don't have to go to the military. You could go in the trades. Just pick something what you want to do and let us help you get there.
Right.
And that's something I wish they would have done, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like the idea of being an entrepreneur, I didn't even know what that was.
Same.
Until I was probably in my 30s maybe, or 20. I never really thought about it. And I didn't know that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, or that I was actually doing a lot of these things that kind of shifted me wanting to do my own thing later in life, until I realized that every time we had to do something and hire somebody, I was always like, why don't we just do it?
Right.
Like, we could do this in-house. Like,
it's entrepreneurialism right there.
And after time and time of doing that, I was like, wait a second. Oh, that's why I want to do it. Or that's why, just that mindset. And now people know what it is, and they support it, where, when we were younger, 25 years ago, they weren't doing that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it definitely wasn't a thing. You would go to college, get your job. And if you didn't, you just, you're just like, well, why? That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I walked into 2 colleges and immediately felt like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
And I could go for free. Like, my mom had that tuition exchange where I could go. And so I felt guilty to a degree, because I'm like, gosh, my mom is helping me get free college, and I just really didn't want to go. And I got met with a lot of haste all the time. I'm just like, man, what are you doing? And I was like, having fun.
Yeah.
I'm just
living.
Just having a good time.
Yeah.
I felt like I was doing the right thing. It felt right in my heart, in my gut. The first year I did this, I think I made like $22,000 in the first year, $25,000 in the first year. That's nothing.
Yeah. But at that time, coming out, like, just graduating high school,
right?
That's like my first job. I think I got paid like $32,000 a year.
Yeah.
After I got my degree and everything.
Right.
I don't want to hate on college degrees, because I think they're important, but.
And I agree. Like, I never tell anybody not to not go to college.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it's just following the path that you feel like you're meant to be on, whether that is the usual or the non-usual pathway. I just happen to be on the one that is very unusual, but it's also not unusual. There's a lot of people like me that have done their own thing and been very successful. And so I don't think I'm anything different than anybody else. I just wanted to go a different path that I felt was for me, but it was always like challenging, but it didn't feel like it was like I was going against the grain. I felt like I was just doing the things that I enjoyed doing. And that's just what I did, regardless of what people said. I mean, I was always used to the hate anyways, come from Tacoma.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, you're from Tacoma, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard that story. And so I was kind of used to the bashing in some degree of just like, but I stood on business for Tacoma for a long time. I've never left here, because it's like I've enjoyed Tacoma through and through. A lot of people have, even working in Seattle or in different areas for a long time. And so anytime I was met with it, ignored it.
This won't be a popular comment. Some may not believe it, but there's so much opportunity in Tacoma.
There is.
And it's funny, because when I got here, it was this idea that there's all this potential, but it never gets, no one ever really takes advantage of it, or nothing ever happens with it. And I was like, it's not potential, it's opportunity.
Well, people, you always just didn't think you could.
Yeah.
Like you always had to leave to be successful or something like that. And I mean, I fell right into that too, because I mean, I ended up in Seattle. I lived down here, I commuted, but you know, I didn't think there was that opportunity here.
Yeah.
And there maybe wasn't as much back, 20 some years ago, but now for sure.
Well, when I moved here, we moved to Tacoma. I was relying on Seattle to get work for the first year, and realized that like I tried to get more involved in Tacoma, and it takes a while. Yep. But then I was like, wow, there's a lot of really great opportunities here that, I could, different lanes I can go down. And I thought, I don't know, I just feel like I'm so glad I chose Tacoma over Seattle.
Yeah.
As in, I just feel like this just feels more authentic. And there's just so much that you can do down here. And I don't know, I just feel like it's endless down here. Yeah. But not everyone would agree with that. But I believe it. I think it's true. And I don't know, I just feel like, I think Tacoma's a great spot.
I do too. I mean, I wasn't born here, but I wasn't either. I came here when I was 2.
Yeah.
So pretty much raised here my entire life. Yeah. I mean, I went to Sherman, Truman Wilson. Like I went to 3 schools, but it was a great upbringing for me. I enjoyed it. I was also a garbage man for a short amount of time. So I saw every ounce of the city and was friends with everybody from all schools. So, I mean, I've seen north, south, east, and west. I've seen every stretch of the city, and it's always been great for what it is in any of those areas. You just had to appreciate it. And a lot of people just didn't simply appreciate the diversity that was here.
I think people get caught up on some of the negative pieces. Of
course, yeah.
Like and it gets blown out of proportion, and they miss the positives. I feel like we do that across so many things, but I don't know. I always say you got to win more than you lose. And I think Tacoma wins a lot more than it loses. You just got to find those wins. But okay, let's jump back into you had a sticker company.
Yep.
And I believe you left that after 17 years. What did you do after that?
So I left because I was spending too much time away from my family. I became a dad. Yeah. And that's actually not where like Dad Gang even started or anything, but I've always wanted to be a dad. My dad's my role model, and I always wanted to be a good dad. And so we had our first baby, Quincy, like 3 years into of her life. I just remember leaving early, getting home late, and I remember walking in the house and noticing how she was taller.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm missing all of this stuff. And so this went on for a while, and just had to dig deep on like, well, okay, what's next? 'Cause I feel like I might have ran this course. And I remember her coming downstairs to in like my little kitchen area. She's like, and mind you, this is like a 3-year-old. She like tugged on my shoulder, and she's like, Dad, I need more time with you.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
that'll get you.
I was like, I was like, you got it. I literally looked at her and I was like, okay, you got it. That was the sign I needed from God to tell me to like, I needed to move. And so I was like, all right, go play. And I literally just like broke down. And I was like, I'm resigning. I just need to.
Yeah.
So even though I built this thing up for 17 years, it's time for me to move on. And that kind of transformed into like this, I always thought that's who I was, not what I did. So I had this little period of like, almost like an identity crisis of like, I was the sticker guy, I was like, no, I'm EJ. I just happen to make stickers. And it took a little while to kind of come to terms with that, because that's what I did literally my entire life, really. But then I left there in May of 2019 with no plan, a little bit of money saved. And lo and behold, I started getting offers from other people, and ended up taking an offer with a local clothing company, became their director of operations, came in to help them streamline their print facility. They're printing for some really, really big brands. And so I came in to help shore that up. And then fast forward to May 13th, 2020, COVID happens, got laid off.
Yep.
And so that was a little short-lived period there. But in the meantime of all that is I started dabbling with a bunch of different things like Project Tacoma. Tacoma Run Club started in 2018 too. We can dive into that.
But when did Project Tacoma, when did that kick off? Was that during COVID?
That was like in my period, because at the time I still owned Tacoma_WA Instagram. Like I started that back in 2012 because...
2012.
So
wow.
Instagram started in 2012, and I started that Instagram page because I wanted to showcase Tacoma in all of the things that I liked about it, to combat all of the negative talk. And so if you scroll all the way back to the beginning, unless Bryson has deleted some old posts, you'll see like graffiti at the very beginning of that, because that's what we were doing. Like we were painting graffiti, going and, you know, eating food. And I was just posting about the things that I was doing in Tacoma. And that just kind of took off. So I did that just as a community page. Nobody knew it was me. I didn't actually come out publicly that it was my page until, gosh, I don't even remember, like 2018, 2019. When,
Oh, wow.
South
Really?
Sound Magazine did like a little article, and everyone was like, wait a minute, this is you? I was like, yeah, I didn't want it to be about me.
Right.
I just wanted to showcase Tacoma and how Tacoma could be supportive for your dreams and things you're doing. So I would go in there, comment, share, do all the stuff like as Tacoma Watt. Nobody knew it was me.
Yeah.
Until like that post, and like even my closest friends didn't even know it was me. But that page, you know, it wasn't monetized or anything like that. I was like, well, maybe starting a little brand might be kind of cool. I have no job, and so maybe I can make some money doing this. And so I put together this little brand called Project Tacoma, and it did okay. You know, I did it all myself, built it from the ground up, sold quite a bit actually. But what that did, and I always believe, especially on this journey of entrepreneurism, is whether it's a success or failure, it's going to lead you to whatever like the next thing is. And so since I started Project Tacoma, that reconnected me with the founder of Mirror, Brian Pape, and that ended up turning into a job offer in the middle of, it was 2021. So that was post general contractor period. So I'm kind of jumping forward, but like, I thought that might have been a failure, but what that did is it reconnected me with an old colleague that ended up turning into
That's
a career.
That's the key point, is that you thought it was a failure, and that's the thing, is that like that's why failure has to be your best friend.
Right.
You have to engage that, because that's the way that you learn, and you got to keep going, because like, man, if I stopped at every time I failed over the last 6 years on ideas, and I have constantly ideas, and I talk through them, and I pour everyone I work with and that's around constantly hearing me throwing ideas and stuff out. And I feel like, of course, they're all good ideas. You know, if I came in, they're not.
It's like a founder mentality.
Yeah, you're like,
So many ideas.
oh, this is going to be great. But you constantly have ideas, and then some of them are really good ideas, and some of them are really bad ideas.
Right.
And I've definitely had ideas that I thought was a good idea, but it didn't work at the time.
Yep.
But I've pulled it back out, and now I'm like, this would work now.
Right.
Because I wasn't in a position to really showcase what it could do until we got fast forward to now, where those things start coming back. And I truly believe that you just keep going, and like, I don't know, like, don't stop. Like, just keep it's not failing.
It's all part of the bigger plan that we have no idea is laid out for us. You know, like I did all this hard work for Project Tacoma thinking that it was a failure, but it actually led me to like this insanely great opportunity with Mirror, and never thought in a million years that's what I would end up doing. And it really changed. My mindset changed when I heard the quote, like, life happens for you, not to you. And so if you switch it, it's like, I can't believe this is happening to me. And if you say like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening for me, good, bad, or indifferent, you know, where I just am like, there's a reason for this happening.
Mindset, yeah.
And I just always looked at the optimistic side of all the things and positives. And this is how I've been my entire life.
Yeah.
When things got hard, I was like, it's just going to work out. It's going to work out.
You and Brian Reynolds are very much alike, and it used to drive me nuts how positive like, I've never seen him in a bad, like, rarely. Like, I've seen him stress a little bit, but he's always like switches it, you know, gear. And I'm usually try to stay positive. Yeah. But you two, like, man, it used to, never with you, but with Brian, it used to drive me crazy. It's like, man, would you just, like, let me see you have a bad time for once. But I'm joking, obviously.
For sure, yeah. But Brian was such a, you know, again, all the things that happened there. You know, I met Brian when we started Tacoma Run Club because, so I don't know if you want to dive into Tacoma Run Club. We can get into that. Because this is all kind of ties into that 2018 period.
Let's jump in to Tacoma Run Club.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. So back in 2018, like, as my transitional period of career was happening, if you go back and look at some photos, I was probably about 40 pounds heavier. Like,
really?
As entrepreneurs, You tend to put your health at the bottom of your priority list.
Oh yeah.
Staying late for emails, getting that last thing done. And I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of, all good things happen on the other side of the work you don't want to do. And I knew that I needed to get myself into shape and healthy again because I was putting business above everything. And I just didn't want to do it. And the theme of the year was like, do hard things. Jared and I, so my brother-in-law, who asked me one day, do you want to go for a run? Because we had a lot of conversations about just work and life and stuff like that. It's like, you want to go for a run? I was like, absolutely not. Not at all. Not at all. And then I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it Sunday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's meet on Ruston. It's, that's perfect. And so it was like March 18th, 2018, somewhere around there. We met down there, him and I, and we went for a run. Met at a blue garbage can on a parking strip. Ran like, I don't know, I think it was like 2 or 3 miles. And the whole time we're chatting about life and just different things. And we got done and we're like, oh, I feel pretty good. Want to do it next week? He's like, yeah. So next week we meet up, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's dark, cold, ugly, hard. We show up, we run again, and we post about it. And everyone's like, are you guys running every week? And we're like, yeah, just for fun. You want to join us? And next week there was like 4 people that showed up. And we did the same thing. We talked about life. We ran. We felt good. We went about our week. And this is where I think my designer / community brain like kicked in, because I was like, it makes it more fun if you like put a logo to something and call it a thing.
Oh, for sure.
And it keeps us a little bit accountable because we were really enjoying it. And fast forward, Anthem Coffee goes into where the old Dolce AC was in Point Ruston. And I was like, that would be a cool spot to meet, because I had some friends doing a run club down in California, and they're meeting at Alfred's and Melrose as like the spot. And I was like, there's a coffee shop here now. So I emailed marketing at Anthem Coffee, I think it was, and Brian responded. That was my first time meeting Brian Reynolds.
Oh, really?
Never met him before. And I was like, do you mind if we use this as home base? We have this little faux thing we do every Sunday called Tacoma Run Club. It's not really a thing, but do you care? He's like, no, not at all. Let me know how I can support. Typical Brian. Yep. Ready to be in service of others. And sure enough, so we move it to Anthem probably in like early 2019. And we just met there every Sunday at 6:30 now. And then other people started joining us that we didn't even know. They would just show up. But really what Tacoma Run Club was a accountability measuring stick for Jared and I to stay accountable to our health. I
was wondering if that, it makes it easier. And you mentioned earlier, you like to do things within community. Yep. You like to build a community. And I feel like if you make yourself accountable and you're accountable to all the people that come, it forces you to do it. You can't say no, you have to go.
I had to show up because
I love that.
There might be people that show up to Run Club now. And I liked it. I actually really enjoyed running now at this point, even though it was something I absolutely didn't want to do. And so naturally it turned into something we just really love to do. And it kept us focusing on our health. And that really stemmed from a friend of mine who outlined this thing called the 7 equities. And it's in this specific order on how I started calibrating how I was as a person: mind, body, soul, family, friends, business, money. As business people, we're usually like money, business, family, maybe friends, and then like ourself, mind, body, soul is at the bottom. And that's where I was. I was literally flipped this thing upside down. And so as soon as I started focusing on myself for just a little bit, all of a sudden, like my family life got a little bit better and my friendships got a little bit stronger. And then coincidentally, business and money got better too, because I was living each day more aligned and more clear without the friction of running up against my health or anything. I was actually pouring into myself instead of just completely pouring into others all the time. And that's where Tacoma Run Club really like locked in as something that we need to do forever. Yeah.
I love that. It's a great way to stay accountable.
Yeah.
So let's jump into Dad Gang.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Tacoma Run Club, I've heard about for,
it's going on, a little over 7 years now.
Yeah. And I've walked down there because I've seen you down there. I didn't run, but it's like, I'm gonna go talk to you.
I remember that. Yeah.
There's been a couple times where I've seen you guys down there, and I even walked down and say hi because I haven't seen you in a while. So I know EJ's down there, and I think it's so cool. I I need to get back into shape on the running. I'd love to. I want to do it. I want to get down there. But we're going to be there this coming Sunday.
Looking forward to that.
But Dad Gang, like I don't know if it was the first time I actually saw the hat, but Dak Prescott, the Cowboys, saw him at a press conference wearing it. And I looked at it and I was like, no way. I looked at it again. I was like, that's EJ's company. I was like, that's incredible. And so I saw it. That was the first time that I knew it had gotten so big. How does that feel? How does it feel to know that you've got people all over the country like wearing your hats? And
so my best friends, business partners, we talk about this all the time. It doesn't feel real sometimes.
Yeah.
But it feels like we're doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime we get a photo or a video sent to us of like some big name person wearing them, we're just like, how did they get it?
Yeah.
Because we're not sending these hats to people. And I think this is just where it's the power of fatherhood.
Absolutely.
And whether you're Dak Prescott or you're a first time dad, or you just want to be a dad at some point, we're all, and this is where, if you know, it comes from on the side of the hat, because I used to get asked all the time, what's it like to be a dad? You love being a dad. And I was like, man, I can't really explain it. It's just the coolest thing on the planet. It's so fun, good, bad, and everything in between. I was like, but when you become a dad, you'll know. Yeah. Like you'll get it. And so as soon as, if you become a father and you hold your baby for the first time, it's like you have that if you know moment. And that's where this came from. And so, I mean, as I alluded to earlier, it's like everything, once I had our first girl, Quincy, and our second girl, Holland, I mean, every decision we make, the food we put in our bodies, how we act, how we speak, the things we do in life is all around, being a good role model and parent. And I love being a dad. And Dad Gang was started because it was me and two best friends having a text chat about fatherhood. That's really where it started from. So to think that it went from a text chain to, I think we just surpassed over 700,000 hats distributed around the United States and America. Or actually, no, I guess we're global because we were selling everywhere. Still doesn't feel real but I feel like we have a duty now to uphold what fatherhood is. You're
building a community around fatherhood, which is it's a brilliant idea. And it's like, I see it and I'm like, I love it. I've heard stories about people that have had their kids are grown, but they met a lot of their friends through their kids, through school, through kindergarten. And I have a son who is going into first grade, and I've been going to, I coach, I do all these things. And his friends now, it's like, that's the class, right? That's the class. And you start getting to know the parents. And I was like, that's what this feels like.
Right.
You start building relationships with their parents and all that stuff. And it's just like, and it feels like that. It feels like a dad gang. And it's just something that you've created, something that it's such a really cool experience. And being a dad wasn't celebrated when we were kids like it is now. It wasn't as important. Like, dads weren't looked at as being such an important part of the family, in my opinion, when I was really young.
Well, my dad, who is my role model, he literally worked graveyards. Yeah. He still showed up and was my baseball coach, showed up to all my soccer games, gave me great advice all the time. Also let me just be a kid, didn't get me in, like, I was out painting graffiti around this entire city. And I think they knew. Yeah. They knew after the fact, after I kind of told them, but they let me be me and supported me through all my ups and downs. And they were just like, I was like, man, it's cool to be a dad. I can't wait to do that. But he showed up by, providing. That's what his role was.
Same. My dad was the same way.
And nowadays, you're not only supposed to be a provider, protector, you're also supposed to be present. Yeah. And that's something one of the main reasons why I left commuting up to Seattle is because I wasn't present with my kids. And so this Dad Gang started, Dad Gang came out of this text chain. It was definitely not my idea. We all came together as business partners and best friends to do it. But fatherhood is what connected us to get there, But if you look online and any sort of brands, it's all goofy, corny. You're going to work, you're going to come home, cut your lawn, sit on your recliner, watch sports, like drink beer. And it's like, well, that's not what we're about at all. And we didn't even set out to create something like what it is today, kind of like Run Club, kind of like any of these things. We just wanted to celebrate what we loved to do, which was be dads, and we wanted to showcase it. And so Bart had me design this logo, and we got some hats made, and it just turned into this community building thing of, well, we might have struck a chord with like this 25 to 45-year-old dad demo. We all have a ton of experience in our backgrounds. I built businesses. Bart's been marketing, advertising. Grant's been nothing like wholesale customer service. Like he knows how to sell product. And so we just joined forces and just like collectively built this thing. And so we've been able to accelerate it super fast because we've already made all the mistakes building other people's businesses. And we decided to do it for ourselves. And it's just turned into this insanely large community of dads all over the world.
Kind of makes all those failures that you thought you had a long time ago kind of feel like, maybe. Not that you feel that way, but it's just that's all of your experience that you've had over the years coming together in something really polished and really just making a statement.
And life happened for me. Like if I didn't go through all of those things, I didn't leave a career, I didn't get fired, I didn't go through a very uncomfortable, construction, period of my life and not just kind of doing what I needed to do, would have never led me to this.
Right.
And I just had to believe that the path that was set for me was here. And I had to stay positive and motivated that it's like, it's going to work out. Without ever knowing what it actually was going to be. But, as we sit here today, it's like, I'm so grateful that I get to actually do what I do today, which is to sell hats to dads.
What has been the most fulfilling project that you've worked on?
Man, that's heavy because all of them serve a lot of fulfillment. I'm going to say Dad Gang right now because it's not just like, you can see the successes, right? Of we sell to a bunch, but it's the messages we get from other dads. Dads thinking about committed suicide that don't because they put on their hat and were reminded that they're a dad and they have something to live for.
Life is bigger than just them. Yeah.
We've actually had some people message us. A father passed away and they literally buried the man with a Dad Gang hat because it was his favorite hat. Like they care so much about being a dad, and knowing that is the impact we're making, it's hard to top that.
I mean, I see it. I mean, I get it. It just makes sense that you've probably connected and you've done so much, maybe repair. You've helped just from doing something that you thought it just meant something to you at the time that you did.
And I thought I was just living my life.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, nothing matters unless I'm succeeding at home.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts, and anything that follows is just a cherry on top.
What do you think the hardest moment in your journey? What was that? Do you have a time where you feel like, or a moment that you're like, wow, this is tough?
Leaving the sticker company was by far the toughest thing. Because I was going through a personal identity crisis during that period. I was also, I could probably say I was depressed and down because I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. I wasn't very proud of where I was at, just personally. And I was leaving something that I built up for 17 years. So it felt like just a humongous failure. And to get through that was really hard. And I gotta completely shout out my wife, Lindsay, to help me through all that. Because we prayed a lot, and she encouraged me, she supported me, and she just knew we would figure it out. But that period was probably the lowest, but also the pinnacle of what needed to happen for me to go to this next chapter, what I had no idea was going to be. But that was hard.
So when we wrap up the season, about the workshop.
Yep.
We're going to have 25 seniors come in, and we're going to create 5 teams, and we're going to pair them with 2 of the entrepreneurs that we have on the podcast. And you're going to be talking to 5 of those students. And the whole point of that is to create this business plan to give them a taste of what is it like to kind of run down that road. As part of that, what advice would you give to those students as they are taking their next step after the workshop to do their thing?
Man, that's good. Because I can answer this in so many different ways. I always tend to lean into just get ready to get your hands dirty. Because this business plan is frankly just a guideline.
It really is.
It's not going to go to plan. You can write down this perfect plan, but really it's kind of mission vision practices are the things that I think are the most important as you're figuring out what it is that you want to do. Everything in between is going to get figured out as you go. But you got to have your vision on what you're trying to create and who you're trying to create it for. And ultimately, if it is a community, local type business, it's you got to really understand your community. Get in there and get involved with it. You're not going to be able to just come up with an idea and pop up somewhere and have a line out the door. It just doesn't work that way.
No.
You know, and you got to be willing to spend the long days and the long hours doing it. But why are you doing it and who are you doing it for are always the two first questions that I will ask, because that's your North Star. It doesn't matter what you're building or what you're doing. If you don't know who you're doing it for and you don't know what you're building for, it doesn't matter at that point. So getting crystal clear on that took me a long time to figure out, because I didn't know what I was doing all the time. I just knew I wanted to put art on something, you know, and it's like, whoa, I am actually taking their art and putting it on this, and they're actually taking it and making a product to resell to their customers. This is their livelihood. What's the impact that you're going to be making with the thing that you're doing? And sometimes this is monetary, sometimes it's not, but you got to be crystal clear on what that vision is. And so my advice to these young kids is just don't worry about the Instagram followers, the likes, because all the work is going to be done when all of that goes away anyways.
Yes.
It's behind closed doors. That's where the real magic happens. And so getting crystal clear on who you are, what you want to do, and what you want to build, and why you're building it.
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Well, EJ, man, I feel like we could go on and on about all this, and we have a lot of conversations to come, because I had no idea about some of the things you shared with me today. But thank you for being on here. I really appreciate it.
It's been an honor. Thanks for thinking of me to be on here.
Of course. There's no one else in town it's got to be you. You got to be on here.
I still feel like just a normal dude from Tacoma, you know what I mean? But it's been fun. I love Tacoma. And also thank you for doing what you're doing for Tacoma. You know, to the audience, I don't know what camera I'm supposed to look at, but I met him 5 years ago as, you know, fresh eyes of Tacoma, and had a vision of what he wanted to do. And we're literally sitting in the vision you talked to me about 5 years ago.
Yeah. But you know, the point is that it took 5 years.
Yep.
It goes back to, you've got to build a team. You got to work with people, and you got to find the people that believe in what you're doing, 100%. And you got to build community.
But you were crystal clear.
I was pretty clear of what I was trying to do.
What you were trying to do in a town that didn't have it yet.
That's true. Yes.
And here we are.
Well, thank you.
So thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Likewise, man.
All right.